Welcome to this explainer on the muscle-longevity connection and how preserving your independence with age really comes down to this one crucial tissue. For decades, we've been handed a very specific script about what it means to age well, and almost all of it has revolved around the scale. But today, we're unpacking some groundbreaking clinical data that literally flips that entire script upside down. We're going to uncover why the tissue attached to your skeleton is absolutely the ultimate currency for a long, vibrant life.
All right, let's take a look at the old paradigm versus the new paradigm. We really need to throw out that old playbook that focuses obsessively on weight loss and lowering your BMI. For the longest time, the medical community and the fitness world alike have been hyper-fixated on shrinking our bodies, treating that as the ultimate goal for health. But, as you'll see in this new paradigm, focusing on muscle preservation and longevity is where it's at. Because, it turns out, shrinking your body usually just means shrinking your muscle. And when you lose muscle as you age, you're actually accelerating your biological clock.
This quote really hits the nail on the head. Muscle mass and strength are stronger predictors of survival than BMI in older adults. Think about that for a second. Something as simple as how hard you can squeeze a hand grip is a far better crystal ball for your lifespan than your waistline. An older adult with a higher BMI but excellent muscle mass consistently outlives and outperforms someone who is thin but frail. Your strength directly forecasts your ability to avoid disability. It literally dictates whether you can carry your groceries, put a suitcase in an overhead bin, or even just stand up from a chair without help.
So we have to name the villain here, and that is sarcopenia. By definition, this is the inevitable age-related decline in muscle mass, which is a major contributor to falls, hospitalization, and the loss of independent living. It isn't just about getting a little weaker as the years go by. It's the difference between living in your own home or having to move into an assisted care facility. When your muscles wither, the bones attached to them degrade too, leading to this vicious cycle of frailty.
And to put that into perspective, just look at this number, $40.4 billion. That is the annual healthcare cost resulting from sarcopenia in the U.S. alone as of 2019. It shows just how devastating this physical decline truly is. It's not just a personal tragedy, it's a massive economic burden. Sarcopenia leads directly to falls, fractures, extended hospital stays, and honestly a heartbreaking loss of quality of life. The clock is ticking, and we desperately need interventions that actually work.
Now, what's actually going on under the hood? Well, muscle decline is driven by overlapping mechanisms. You've got mitochondrial dysfunction, which means you're literally losing the cellular energy required to contract and repair. Then there's neuromuscular degradation. Your nerves are essentially disconnecting from your muscles. On top of that, your body develops anabolic resistance, meaning it starts ignoring the protein you eat, while overactive pathways like mTOR hyperactivity actually accelerate muscle breakdown. It's basically a perfect storm of biological erosion, which is exactly why just walking more isn't going to cut it.
So here's a crucial takeaway. Muscle acts as medicine for the whole body. It's not just a lever for moving your skeleton around. It's an active, dynamic, life-extending medical tissue. It acts as a massive metabolic sink that absorbs and stores glucose, powerfully protecting you against insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome. The more healthy muscle you have, the more resilient your entire system becomes.
In fact, we need to start looking at muscle as an endocrine organ. This is where the science gets truly fascinating. When you actively use your muscles, they release these protective, exercise-induced molecules called myokines, things like IL-6 and BDNF. These act as molecular messengers that travel throughout your body to cool down chronic inflammation and protect your brain and immune function. Your muscle is quite literally an internal pharmacy, dispensing potent anti-aging medicine every single time you lift a challenging weight.
And the clinical data backs us up beautifully. Let's look at this 2023 meta-analysis of over 3,700 older adults. It compares different interventions and their primary benefits. If you look at resistance training alone, the result is a fantastic boost in hand grip strength, about plus 2.69 kilograms. When you combine resistance, aerobic, and balance work, you get the highest improvement in overall quality of life. But look at that bottom row. Resistance training, plus balance, plus nutrition. That yields the absolute greatest return on overall physical function. We're talking an increase of over 4 kilograms in strength and significantly faster walking speeds. They didn't just get stronger, they got their independence back.
So how do we successfully feed that muscle? Well, older adults require 1.2 to 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight every single day. That's what it takes to overcome that anabolic resistance we talked about earlier. The old standard recommendation of 0.8 grams, that's essentially just enough to keep you alive, not to keep you independent. You need a much higher dose of dietary protein just to maintain the muscle you currently have, let alone build new, healthy tissue.
But it's not just about the total volume. You need specific dietary protein strategies. You want to target about 3 grams of leucine per meal to really trigger that growth. Leucine is an essential amino acid that acts exactly like a key in the ignition of your muscle-building engine. To get that, you need to consume 25 grams or more of protein evenly across your meals. And a great pro tip here is to combine plant and animal sources. That gives you optimal amino acids while keeping your overall inflammation low.
With all this complex science about myokines, mTOR pathways, and leucine thresholds, you're probably asking, how do you start rebuilding your strength safely? It can feel incredibly overwhelming, right? You know you need to lift weights and eat perfectly calibrated protein, but doing it wrong can lead to injury. So how do you actually put this into practice without getting completely stuck?
Well, the clinical data lays out some clear steps. Step 1, train at least 2 times per week. You have to stimulate the muscle fully. Step 2, leave 2 to 5 repetitions in reserve to push intensity safely. It needs to be challenging to force adaptation, but you don't want to go to absolute failure. And step 3, work with a health coach to set clear, personalized goals and plans. Because we're dealing with joints and tendons that require immense care, getting an expert to modify these movements for your specific capabilities is absolutely essential.
Because your future independence is quite literally on the line. We want you to rescue your muscle today. We're inviting you to join our volunteer program to work directly with a dedicated coach and implement this clinical blueprint. You don't have to navigate anabolic resistance or exercise programming all by yourself. By joining this program, you get the ultimate easy button to ensure you build strength safely, hit those exact leucine thresholds, and protect your most valuable asset.
I'll leave you with this final question. Will you let your functional independence slowly fade, or will you take action to build your own fountain of youth today? The choice between a fragile future and a resilient one is entirely in your hands. Muscle isn't just about looking fit. It's your metabolic shield and the ultimate predictor of a long, independent life. The science is clear, the path is laid out right in front of us. So, what's your next move going to be?